Well, when it comes to our free agent frenzy, we turned to our old friend, Mike Clevinger, who, of course, has kind of a notorious reputation a bit. We know Bob Brenly and Mike Clevinger still don't see necessarily eye to eye on his batting or on his approach or his delivery, but he had himself a hell of a season in 2023. He pitched 131 innings. He went 9-9, 3.77 ERA, not terrible. 1.23 WHIP. You don't hate this. You don't hate these numbers. 110K, 40 walks. So, what are your thoughts on Clevinger as a potential option for the D-backs?
Yeah, I think he's a fit for what he's been able to do over his career. Obviously, had the Tommy John surgery, so missed a lot of time going back to 2020 and 2021. But you look what he was able to do in the early part of his career. He's a little bit older now, right? I think he's going in his age 33 season. Padres, he knows this division a little bit. It's been a while since he's been in the NL West, but as a member of the Padres in his age 26 to 28 season, when he was with Cleveland, put up some big numbers. And that was back when the American League was the only league that had the DH, had a sub-3 ERA there. So he's a guy where his skill set definitely plays up. You saw that last year, I think, a little bit with Chicago. And so I don't think it would really require a major deal for the Diamondbacks to fit him into that rotation as kind of a veteran number 3 guy. And I say number 3 because you go, hey, Brandon Pfaadt, don't relax. You're good. Not too much pressure on you to have to step up and fill that like number 3 role. So I think a veteran guy like Mike Clevinger, and you might even not need to give him a 4-year deal. I'm sure he would probably be seeking that here in Colorado, something long-term like, hey, this is probably gonna be my final payday if I go to Denver.
Yeah.
So maybe a 2-3 year deal kind of gets that job done, and you don't have to pay too much for him and doesn't take up too much of that payroll. So I think he's a guy that has a certain skill set that now that he's had that second Tommy John, which you don't love, but that probably means some of his worst days injury-wise are behind him. And he certainly would probably love to get back and do a little tormenting of the Padres here as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know Bob Brenly and Clevinger had the little thing about his delivery. There might be questions definitely about if he's a fit for the clubhouse, because right now that's something for the Diamondbacks that is an asset. They are a connected team, and there are guys that you could potentially bring in that disrupt that connection a bit. I don't know if that's a big concern. I think that, for instance, Tommy Pham didn't have the best reputation, and he ended up being one of the best guys in the Diamondbacks clubhouse, at least according to his teammates and according to people within the organization. So sometimes that reputational stuff can be overblown. What I like about Clevinger is the idea here that the Diamondbacks could potentially, get that guy that has that, 3.5 ERA next season that could potentially fit in and really help the starting rotation without costing as much as a lot of these other options that we've been discussing and are going to discuss are going to end up costing. He did decline a 1-year, $12 million deal, and he's looking for a multi-year deal. But, I mean, as far as, like you said, he's 33 years old, so every player essentially wants a multi-year deal when they're getting at that point of their career, because they know that any deal they get could potentially be their last one.
Yeah, and he's on the precipice of the end of his career, as you said, and this might be his last, larger size deal. He started his career out going to the World Series with Cleveland there in 2016 against the Cubs, and probably thought when he was going to San Diego, like, hey, all right, I might have another opportunity to possibly get a ring. So I think that's a big pull for him. And as you pointed out, Tommy Pham, the Diamondbacks aren't afraid to bring in someone that maybe has a less than stellar reputation. And for Mike Clevinger, he was investigated for domestic violence by MLB, but was cleared of that. So I think that's a strength that the Diamondbacks have, is that, a connected ability. It's a dangerous ability as well. And so it might allow you to take a chance on a guy like that and bring that player in and say, this is a safe place. We're going to support you. We're going to work on things. We're also, going to make sure that we don't take any guff. Like you still got to behave here. And Tommy Pham was great, and I think Clevinger could possibly benefit from that same thing. And could end up being a really good destination, a win-win situation that that might allow Clevinger to take a little bit less money because he's comfortable with what Torey Lovullo has been able to build here in the Diamondbacks clubhouse.